Okay, let's get into this. I'm getting stuck on reminiscing, but we're gonna go into another old movie, Jan. We're gonna go into another old classic because we're gonna do how 60 seconds completely changed a character in Willy Wonka. And I think I know which 60 seconds they're talking about. I'm pretty sure I know exactly what scene no, not that one, Dragon. Not that. J10, I think so. I'm very uncertain that's exactly what they're talking about. The cane, Bobby. The cane.
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams.
44 minutes.
I'm a trifle deaf in this ear. Speak a little louder next time.
That's how long it takes a movie titled Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory to introduce us to the main setting for the film and to the titular character.
This is going to be such an exciting day. I hope you enjoy it.
And while it takes us 44 minutes to officially see him, it isn't the first impression of him we get.
I'm sorry, but all questions must be submitted in writing.
Up to this point in the film, we've heard characters describe him as
Willy Wonka was born to be a candy man.
Nobody ever goes in. Nobody ever comes out.
He locked the gates and vanished completely.
Waiting to catch a glimpse of that legendary magician, Mr. Willy Wonka.
We're going to see the greatest of them all, Mr. Willy Wonka.
So when the factory doors finally open and he walks out like this, it feels anticlimactic and takes us and the crowd in the film by surprise. But with a quick forward tumble, the facade is dropped and the real Willy Wonka emerges.
Is it though?
On the surface, this appears to be a simple gag, played as a quick subversive joke that highlights Wonka's casual childlike demeanor.
What is this, Wonka? Some kind of fun house?
Why, having fun?
But this 60-second introduction actually accomplishes something else entirely. It completely shifts our opinion of the character.
Little surprises around every corner, but nothing dangerous.
Which I'm guessing a lot of people didn't catch when they saw this movie. But yeah, well, Revan, it's kind of sorta. It wasn't improvised in the way one might think, where it's like they're doing the scene and he improvises it during the course of the scene. Before they actually shot the scene, Gene Wilder approached, I think it was the director, and said, "Listen, this is what we need to do." And I'm gonna spoil this guy's video probably with this. I don't know if it was during your writing or when they were setting up the scene, but Gene Wilder said, "Listen, we need to do this where he comes out looking hobbled and feeble, and then all of a sudden he lets go of the cane and does a forward roll and strings up and he's vim and vigor, and it's at that point you realize you cannot trust a single fucking thing that Willy Wonka says for the entire rest of the movie. You have no idea if what he's telling for the entire rest of the movie is a truth or a lie. And that's how it completely changed it. Because he's been built up as this mythical candy man and everything like that. I know Bobby, but this is something that's been said for a long time. And yeah, it's the genius. It is. It's the smart way because now it's like, holy shit. And again, most audience goers, when they first saw this movie back when it came out, didn't clue into that. It wasn't until decades later, when we had the benefit of time and hindsight, that we can go, oh, it was actually this. People seeing it for the first time literally just took it as a gag. Like he just said, they just took it as he's being childlike. But now, 60 years, not even 50 years later, 4 years later, people have been talking about this for the last decade or so. They realize, oh shit, when you add it all up.
Don't be alarmed.
I wouldn't have done the film if they didn't let me come out walking as a cripple and then getting my cane stuck into a cobblestone, and then doing a forward somersault, and then bouncing up, and they all applauded. And the director said, well, what do you want to do that for? And I said, because from that point on, no one will know whether I'm telling the truth or lying.
When they leave here, they'll be completely restored to their normal, terrible old selves.
And this specific character trait.
What's so sad is I don't know how much of the audience back when this movie first came out actually got that. That's the sad part. We don't know. Yeah, the meme post. Actually, let me back it up to the proper meme post. There we go. Proper meme post. I don't think, Gene Wilder was a comedic genius. And that was a comedically genius idea that he came up with. Unfortunately, I think it was lost on most moviegoers at the time.
Sadly, with attention spans these days, audiences would probably pan this movie these days for taking 40 minutes to reach the Willy Wonka intro cheer 100.
Well, Revan, I think it's more of the lines of every movie these days does this. When Willy Wonka came out, this was not a thing that was commonly done, so it was more interesting. And it allowed for a big build-up for the character. And then you get the payoff of him coming out where it's initially like, oh, he's just this people guy after all this build-up. And then he does the forward roll, and it's like, oh, now we're seeing something different. So the problem is so many movies these days do that and not do it well either. And that's why it would be panned if it was done today as new, if this was new.
Trait was something Gene Wilder was thinking about from the minute he read the script, because he not only wanted to make the character more nuanced than his literary counterpoint, but keeping secrets and lying was at the heart of the character.
When I read the book, I thought about lying and telling the truth. And in this case, I have a great secret. As Willy Wonka, I'm looking for one particular boy. But the audience doesn't know all that until the end.
And neither did the other characters, which is why we join them in trying to decipher any intentions he's withholding, and why he provides us with subtle hints throughout the film, like constantly teasing his hair out to look more wild.
Any good?
Or telling the costume designer to design his outfit around a vain man who knows colors that suit him, yet, with all the oddity, has strangely good taste. Something mysterious, yet undefined.
Where is fancy bread? In the heart or in the head?
But even with all these subtle details and sarcastic comments combined,
Help! Police! Murder!
we still find ourselves being reassured by his affectionate demeanor, which makes the scene where he conducts Charlie.
Okay. Yeah, he absolutely was a trickster. I think that kind of falls into the whole, childlike persona that he's supposed to have. But here's another thing to think about. We love to use the meme of, oh no, anyway, from Jerry Clarkson. This motherfucker pioneered that. Okay, Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka pioneered that fucking meme. No, stop, come back. He fucking pioneered that shit. Long before Jeremy Clarkson did. So let's not forget that. This man is the OG of the memes.
Charlie's final test all the more impactful for us and the other actors.
When I blow my top at this young boy, really angry, and I had to tell the sound man, be prepared because I'm going to be loud and I don't want to rehearse it that way with him. I want to shock the boy.
You lose! Good day, sir!
And I did. He didn't cry, but I think he was close to crying. And the scene came off well.
And it was this
You're taking all of my brain cells. I need one to function, Mr. Destructoid 100.
Now you know. I would puppet you like the puppet master that I am. Ha 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 ha.
It's very characteristic that initially drew director Mel Stewart to him in the first place. Because while he's more lovable than the original character from the book, he still keeps the mysterious and slightly unhinged disposition hidden just beneath the surface.
I asked them, why do you want me? And they said, because we saw Start the Revolution without me. And there was something craziness there that made us think about you as Willy Wonka.
Do you want to know why I'm going to tell you my name?
What Gene brought to it was a lovability to a character who was not written lovable, who was written in a frightening way, who was...
Okay, this scene right here, like they were talking about how Willy Wonka is crazy. That, okay, he's childlike, but he's also a liar with his opening scene. This scene right here, the tunnel scene that someone referenced earlier, this is where...
Cheer 100 haha jokes on you. I am taking the brain cell for myself. Moo ha 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 runs away.
Seismic doesn't know as I have it tracked. I will follow you anywhere. But this scene right here is where you saw the insanity coming out. He didn't go full Joker. But you could see the craziness. And it's because of that. The tunnel scene was terrifying because of Gene Wilder's performance during it. It's like you could see the craziness and the insanity and the madman starting to come out. And that's scary. They don't.
Ember Gene Wilder in one interview said that the scene where they are licking the wallpaper, he invented the term snozzaberry, because it's what he called his wife's happy button when he went down on her. Cheer 100.
Wow. Okay. Andrea, I have to wonder, did he do some Willy Wonka channeling during that interview and lie? I have to wonder if he was doing some kind of inner Wonka channeling and deliberately lie, straight-faced, made the reporter think it was true, and just flat-out fucking lie to the reporter just to fuck with him. That would not surprise me if G. Wilder did that.
It's kind of a monstrous boogeyman kind of nightmarish character who was spinning magic that was evil. Kids were disappearing, they were exploding, they were turning blue, they were going down a chute, and you could never really be frightened because there was always that reassuring lovability of Gene Wilder.
If the good Lord had intended us to walk, he wouldn't have invented roller skates.
It was a tricky part, and I liked that. It appealed to me a lot.
And what was left when all was said and done was something that appealed to all of us as well.
2 days ago, Mother came up to me. Could I, this is in our country market, could I tell the children who you are? I said, if you don't say it loudly, you can. And she did and whispered, that's Willy Wonka. And she smiled at me and she said, what a legacy.
Hold your breath.
Aww.
Make a wish. Count to 3.
Thanks for watching. I'm Luke.
Wait a minute. Strike that. Reverse it.
I'm Luke.
You should open your mouth a little wider when you speak.
Thanks for watching.
What happened?
He lived happily ever after.
It was... Yeah, it's... This is just an... Yeah, oh, I agree, Pigeon. Like, is Snowpiercer a sequel to Willy Wonka? No. Is it a very fun theory? Yes. Absolutely, it's a fun theory. But it just goes to show you how... wait. You know, when you had the Tim Burton sequel, you know, there's you can see why people didn't take to it. Johnny Depp is a great actor. He is. But I'm sorry, he took he went with the role and went too ham.
What Willy Wonka food would you want? IRL cheer 100.
Oh, I have no idea, Revan. Just a Wonka, a regular Wonka. I'm a simple cat girl. A simple Wonka bar is fine for me. And yeah, he definitely overplayed. He went too far on the ham. Now, whether that was Johnny's choice or Tim Burton's choice, I don't know. He should have done, like, he would have benefited from doing a more subtle take. Like Gene Wilder. Gene Wilder had a very subtle take, i.e., you know, the lie at the beginning, that carefully hidden madness. We didn't see that. You know, Willy Wonka in the Tim Burton film was just from the jump, flat out mad, but in a silly way. That was the failure. The madness in Tim Burton's Charlie and Chocolate Factory was too silly. And there was the problem. It was, you know, I mean, at this point, you know, we had Tim Burton, he was doing the Charlie and Chocolate Factory, he was doing the fucking Alice in Wonderland movies, like, all of it was just...
As much as I love Johnny Depp, Gene is the only true Willy Wonka,
yes.
And we do not even acknowledge that bullshit movie from a few years ago with the CGI crap.
Correct. It's all of these, they're taking all of these classic movies and especially giving them to Tim Burton over and over and over again. It needs to stop. These classics are a classic for a reason. Leave them alone. You're not going to be better than them.